based on all of that knowledge and expertise you have as one of the experts, what do you see as the biggest communication hurdles that autistic and neurodivergent students are facing in these academic spaces where they may have to be their own interlocutor or self advocate with experts?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest hurdles, it goes back to the people around them, whether they be instructors or, uh, for individuals who live in a dorm, maybe, people who are responsible for their health and welfare in that situation. Um, and I would say this goes across the board, and that is the impact of emotional regulation and challenges to emotional regulation.
Hmm.
That first of all, it impacts so many. It impacts academic performance, learning in a lecture hall. It impacts the ability to communicate. It impacts the ability to self-advocate and say to a college professor, it's more helpful maybe if I sit in a certain place in the classroom, or is it okay if I review some things, that are a little bit difficult for me to understand, or even saying to a professor, you use a lot of non-literal language, sometimes that throws me off a little bit. Uh,
Yeah.
so I think, and of course, I always like to say what I've learned comes so much from my autistic and neurodivergent colleagues. So one of those colleagues, Michael John Carley, um, he has actually said in these very words, for him now in his life, and Michael's in his late 40s, early 50s now, he says emotional regulation is everything,
Hmm.
you know? And I
Yes.
believe that goes for, I'm very involved in the non-speaking community now.
Yes.
And, so many non-speakers or people who have minimal abilities to use speech for various reasons are so often traumatized by the way they've been treated.
Yeah.
So I really feel a major issue in any setting for people on the spectrum is for other people to understand how
Hmm.
important it is to support them and understand the challenges they face in
Yeah.
staying well regulated emotionally and physiologically.